Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Woodmere Estate Revival. Today we're down at the house. We're going to be working around the back of the house and around the pool, pulling up all of the brick patio. Earlier this morning, ran over to my dad's house to borrow his Kubota four-wheel drive tractor. He's got a loader on the front of it, and we're going to be using that to haul bricks from around the house down to pile them up to where the old guest house was torn down. We'll stack them up down there and then go sort through them, sort the good from the bad, and keep the good and use those for future projects. And the bad ones we'll use for fill and around the old pond there down by the guest house. So we'll put those to good use. Let me show you where we're starting out today. If you'll remember from last episode, we had a 40-foot aerial lift, and we used that to take down about 20 trees, I'm guessing. I didn't keep count, but I'd say it was around 20. And we used that lift to get up way in the tops of the trees, and then we were able to take them from the top down rather than, dropping the tree on something like the house or the pool or something like that. So it really worked very well to get that all the trees and everything cleared away from the back of the house. So right now you can see the view is much improved here. We got all those trees down that were close to the house. We left that one there because it's right on the power line. So we're going to get a professional folks to come in here and take care of that. There's actually two trees there, and they kind of straddle the power line. So we left those. I didn't feel like dropping the tree on it and ripping the line out of the ground. But other than that, we've got most of them down from around the house. So much more light back here now. It really is lighter and brighter on the patio and in the house itself. A lot more light coming in through the windows. It had really grown over, and the trees were arching over the patio and growing into the house, so it was a real mess here. But as you can see, we got all these trees taken out, and this whole thing is really opened up here and got all this stuff away from the house. You can see how green the walls of the house are, all the algae and stuff that's been growing on them back here because it's been so shaded. At some point we're going to take the rest of this fence down, and we'll get all these vines and everything down when we do that. This was a decorative thing that the previous owner had installed to kind of cover this fence up, and we believe they installed this fence to catch trees and rocks and debris and stuff coming off this hillside because it's pretty steep and behind the hill or behind the house here. So at some point we will take this fence down and then install a lower fence that will serve the same purpose, but be nicer to look at. And we're going to get rid of all these vines because they're hideous. Nice to know that intermixed in those decorative vines are some monster poison ivy vines as well. So looking forward to dealing with that. So I really want to get these vines cut and taken out before the poison ivy leafs out, which probably won't be too much longer as we've already passed into the spring season here. So at any rate, we're going to get started here. Dad just dropped the back blade off of the tractor, and we're going to get that fired up, and after we get a little brush cleared out of the way here and get a fire started, burn some of the brush, we'll get the tractor fired up. It's a nice B-Series tractor, 2710. Nice loader frame on the front of it, so that should do great hauling those bricks and everything off the property. It should beat running the wheelbarrow all day. So looking forward to getting this started. We'll keep you apprised of our progress along the way. So we're making good progress. I got another load of brick in the bucket here. We've been filling up the bucket and then tramming it down the road to the old guest house site. There's a patio right next to it, and we've been dumping them off on the patio. We're not trying to stack them up right now because we've got, chips and broken bricks mixed in with the good bricks. I'll come back at some point with some pallets and stack up all the good ones, and then we'll take all the old ones and dump them over in the old pond there that we're filling in next to the boys' playhouse. We're making good progress. We're going to try to get a strip down the whole length of the back of the house today, and then I can come back through and start shoveling out all that old sand and clay and everything, and dump that in the bucket and then haul it back over here and dump that in the hole. Start filling in that old pond. The pond was a real mess. It had gotten filled in with a lot of leaves and muck and everything, and so it just wasn't a very nice looking pond. It was full of mosquitoes. One old snapping turtle. He got displaced. I'm not sure where he moved on to, but Anyways, when I had the excavator down here working on getting the old house down, I used the bucket on it and broke the dam out and went ahead and dumped it. So here's what we got pulled out so far. This is about 1, 2, 3, 4 trips worth, and I got another road here. Hopefully we'll have enough to do a sidewalk and maybe even do a like a patio around that stone fireplace down at the bottom of the property. So we're making good headway. Taking another load to the brick pile while the snow softly falls. Here it is, getting towards the end of March. It's supposed to be spring, but you know, March in West Virginia, you just never know. So we got a little snow falling. It's been kind of misty and cold today already, but now we got some snow flying. So, oh well, surely a couple more weeks we'll have a lot better weather. We've been getting a lot done. Taking another load over here to put on the pile. Probably about ready to wrap up for the day. Dad's going to head home here in a few minutes. He's been a big help as usual. I'm probably going to stick around and get a few more runs in. And then once we clear all this out, it'll be time to start shoveling out the foundation. I want to get as much of that foundation wall exposed as I can so we can find out if there's any other sort of drainage issues down there. I'm hoping that once we get the bricks pulled and the foundation exposed, that we'll have enough drainage going then to keep the water away from the foundation and we can start to dry the place out. That's my hope. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to drop this next load here. You see the piles getting deeper and deeper. We pulled a lot of bricks today and we haven't really knocked a dent in it. So we've got several days worth of brick pulling to go, but we'll get her done. It's only a matter of time. Not afraid of a little hard work here at Woodmere State Revival. So you can see we've got a strip all the way down through here. We've exposed the sand bed that the bricks were laid on, and if my test hole that I dug the other day was any indication, there's a lot of clay underneath that. Dad's over here working the wrecking bar, using the hook on the end to break the bricks free from their final resting place. Some of them are coming out in pieces, but we're saving a lot of bricks. I think we'll be able to use those again in the future for some project, as I've mentioned. How's it going, Dad?
Oh, it's just lovely. Just lovely.
Starting to snow again.
Oh, yeah.
Just what we wanted. So we're almost to the doorway over there. We're gonna quit after we get to the door. At least that way, when the rain comes next week, we'll have some sort of clear drainage path here. Hopefully get some of this water away from the foundation.
I think I'm going on strike.
Unfair working conditions, or
Yeah.
yeah, no doubt. We've definitely had our share of nasty working conditions here. Thanks for your help today, Dad. Well, as you can see, the snow's coming down pretty good right now. Dad left a few minutes ago, and I was taking another load of brick down to the brick pile. Just about done here for the day. Gonna do a cleanup run down the patio, get all the broken ones, and shovel up some trash and debris and stuff, dump that in the dumpster. I think we're just about done though. Complain about the snow, it is pretty, and we are ready for spring. It's gotten to the point now where we've got enough of it. We've worked on this project all winter, and we are ready for some warm weather. Well, there you have it, folks. That wraps up another episode of Woodmere State Revival. The snow is picking up back down here. I got everything put away, so I'm going to head for the house, get some dinner, put my feet up, and relax. It's been a tough day down here. We got the tractor out early, and we've been hauling brick ever since. Let me show you what we got accomplished. So we got all the way from the back door of the house, all the way down the length of the house. And as we go, it's just, you know, it's just manual. I mean, you're just hooking underneath the brick with the crowbar, popping it up, picking it up, putting it in the bucket, and hauling it down to the other end of the road. We had visions of being able to use the bucket to scoop up several rows at a time. And, you know, I certainly think we could do that, but by hand stacking them in the bucket, we're able to get 3 times as many bricks per trip. So for right now, we're just going to keep popping them up by hand and then loading the brick into the bucket by hand and then tramming it down there and dumping them off down by the old house there. So we got a lot done. Did uncover a couple of things that kind of give us some answers on some of our drainage issues. As you can see here, there's the downspout drain that comes from the main gutter on the back of the house, and it comes down and goes to the right out this way somewhere. So I don't know where it goes from here, but at one point we questioned whether or not it actually went under the house. So we do know that this one does not go under the house, and the one on the other end of the roof, it goes to the left under the door and then, you know, goes across over towards the driveway. So at least we know that the gutters are not contributing to the problem. We know the lack of the gutter was contributing to the problem, but I got that rehooked last week when I was using the aerial lift. I was able to get up there and nail the gutter back into place, hook up the downspout again. So we've got that working again, and we know that the downspouts are draining away from the house. So that's taking care of that question. And now that we've gotten the foundation exposed by peeling up the brick, I'm going to be able to dig down across the length of the foundation and expose the entire foundation. We did find clay weeping tile in the bottom of the hole, and so we know that there was a foundation drain originally. You can see it down in the bottom there. It's covered in mud, kind of hard to tell, but you can see the gap between the 2 drainage tiles. But who knows what kind of condition the tile's in. Could be full of roots and clay and everything else. And then if you look, the fill that was on top of that, there was maybe an inch or 2 of gravel, and the rest of this just hard packed clay and shale and everything else. There's no way water was draining down through that stuff. It was just hitting that and then settling right in against the house and then eventually working its way through the block and into the crawl space. So we definitely figured out, I think, most of our drainage issues. We're going to peel up the rest of the patio. We're going to dig out the entire base under the patio. New foundation drain, new downspout drains. We'll get all that water away from the house, and then we'll fill in with gravel over top of that so we know that the water will just pass right through, hit the foundation drain, and get away from the house. So that's the plan as we speak. Back down here tomorrow afternoon, we're going to work on peeling up some more of this brick. Got the tractor over here, so I'm going to use it as much as I can to tram the brick down and dump it off by the old guest house foundation there. And then any trash and debris and everything else that needs to go into the dumpster, we'll be using it to load that. Can't tell you how handy it's been to have that Kubota down here today with a loader on it, making good use out of that. Thanks for hanging out with us today at this episode of Woodmere Estate Revival. We'll be sure to clue you in tomorrow on all of our progress. Be sure to hit that subscription button so you don't miss a single episode. Hit that like button and share it with your friends and family. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you again real soon. Thanks.